Okay, in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about a Claude Code skill that I needed and I created. I'm sure a lot of people might need this, and there's probably better ways to do it. But let me tell you what I did. What I did was, I want to create a skill at a high level on top of all my project folders, where I could create a create a Claude code folder, and it would create a Claude code project, and it would create all the folders and the structures and files that I need in it before I get started editing and defining what that thing is. So basically, I created this thing called a root folder, and basically what I wanted to do is go into plan mode here and just start telling it what I want. I created the plan, I executed the skill, and basically this is what got created. So let me show you what I did. Step one, I'm in plan mode. I want to create a skill at the top level of my root directory. Create Claude folder, and basically when I run the skill, what I wanted to do is create a folder with the argument name, and basically create a folder with all the files that I might need for, let's say, a Python project. So basically, the folder name should be created. The .claude directory should be there. There should be some commands, default dummy skill, a settings with a permission file. Want to use Python 3.14 with a virtual environment in that folder. I also want a GitHub setup and working properly. I need a claude.md file, a readme.md file. And what I want to do is I want to, when I want to run and create Claude folder anywhere within a Claude session, I want it to execute, create the folder, create the files, and then Claude should go into the, open up the folder and start a new context. So what I'm doing is I'm telling it a plan, and Claude is not too fussy about some of this stuff. I've said a lot of crazy things and it done what it was supposed to do, and if it didn't do it, I told them to change it. So it works very well. Now, for the most part, I tell Claude to do as much as I want it to do. I don't really break it up into phases, but it is sort of probably good practice to go one phase at a time. Amazon's new Hero development environment does that. There's different phases, and you could execute different phases. I could do that with Claude too. Claude has a workflow. I never had a problem with it because the way I talk to Claude, I'm like fixing multiple phases at the time. I just, to me, it always winds up working. So I think it behaves quite well. However, if I'm doing something sophisticated, I'm going to say create a web page, create cognito registration, user login, forgot password, etc. Then go on to I want to create a PayPal button and a shopping cart, and so I would do things a step at a time because I want to test them a step at a time. But I don't really think Claude has a problem with any of this stuff. But it does go down a wormhole once in a while if you don't be precise enough and keep the constraints on the boundaries. So anyway, the point is that I could give Claude this command, this plan here, and it would try to execute it and ask me all the questions. And I'm not going to do that because I already did it. So basically what I did was I have created a skill at the root level, and let me see if I could find it because it is kind of confusing. I should just test it, but under commands here, I have a create Claude folder command. I should call this create Claude code project, but this is fine, right? So to give you an idea, what I wanted was to talk to Claude and have this thing create a folder. Now, my folder, since I'm in my root directory, when I call on a skill, it's going to look in this root folder first. So so that was the intention of the project. I'm just tired of telling Claude to do the same things, and I wound up getting the project set up pretty quickly, but gets to the point of setting the environment variable, pointing to my GitHub, pointing to my Google email, pointing to different things, and those tokens, yeah, I kind of want to be reusable. It doesn't have to be. So when I look at this, I have to. It tells me the project structure and the arguments, and it lists all the steps and everything. And if it's not perfect, you know, I could change it. Now, another thing I'm trying to do is create this environment file, which is at a very high level, which points to my Amazon config, points to my GitHub, has property values in it that I've been defining over and over again. But the keys kind of get rotated and they change values, and I got to be careful with this. So the goal here is to run the skill at the root level to create a folder, but the folder itself, the Claude code project itself, has its own environment file which can override the base values. So just keep that in mind. Let's test it out. Okay, so I'm just going to test it. I'm going to say create Claude folder I don't really need to type this out like this. I could just say create Claude folder. Then I'm going to give it an argument name, which is the folder name. Now, what do I want to do next? Maybe I want to okay, so I'm going to call this e-commerce, just for the hell of it, because what I want to do is create a folder which is going to be an e-commerce site. And if I don't use this folder, I'll just remove it. And once again, I could speak to it like this, but let me just run this. Just want to see what it produces. You know, keep in mind, I could create a folder called e-commerce. I could go in there and tell Claude, create a .env file, create a GitHub repository, create a README file, create a this, create a that. I can just tell it what to do, and it does it. And like I said, what I'm doing here is a little bit more reusable, but it's also risky because I want my local folder to not be influenced too much with anything outside my folder. So I'm thinking about that as well. And like I said, my GitHub token, my Google Gmail token, some of these things expire, so I could be breaking projects and stuff like that, but the goal is to make it work. Now, I'm in plan mode here, so I should have changed this. I really should have changed this. Now there's this effort, high effort. I'm in high effort mode. There's different modes: low, medium, high. It's supposed to be an ultra mode now. I might have to update my. It's gonna do the scaffolding. Accept this plan. Go ahead, do it. Okay, so notice it's creating the folder. I'm gonna just yes to stuff to death. Write the file. Yeah, so over here I see I'm in the e-commerce folder, which I have to make sure that it's doing the right thing here. So it's doing everything that I requested it to do. Now remember, once it does this, I'm in the root folder here. This folder. When I do this command, I want to create. I want to go into a new folder. So let's see if that works. And more than anything, like I said, I'm tired of going into my environment file and seeing there's a variable missing. Now I don't really know. This looks like it might be firing up a new instance of VS Code, and that's not really what I want either. So it took me in here. So I missed something. I missed something, or didn't give it the proper instructions. Let's just see what happens here. Because the bottom line is, when I create a new folder, I could just I could tell Claude to CD into it and do these same things. So maybe that's what I missed out of the instructions. So what I really want is, I don't want another instance of Visual VS Code. I don't want another instance of Visual Studio Code. I wanted the same instance. I wanted to CD into the new folder, create a new Claude session within that folder. And I always do that. I just don't think I did the instructions properly. Okay, so it looks like it looks like I'm up. I got all my files. Okay, so in some sense I could shut down this instance and go into this instance, right? So I'm really in here now. So if I increase the text a little bit, I'm in this, but it didn't exactly happen the way I wanted to. So I'm going to shut this down. I'm going to go back here. Why does it ask me for this? Okay, I'm going to go back into plan mode, and I'm going to say this. Update plan, so another instance of VS Code does not fire up, but we use the same instance for the new folder. The new folder, yeah. Let me get rid of this. I'm gonna just say it. Okay. What I want to do is update the plan so that when I run the skill to create a new Claude folder, that we don't introduce another visual code instance. We use the same visual code instance, and basically I want it to create the new directory, cd into new directory, fire up a different Claude session, and start me fresh with that new project with the new Claude session. I don't want the new session being confused with the old session, so I want a new Claude session. Please update the plan. So now let's see what this does, and then we'll try it again because I'm almost where I want to be. And like I said, I'm sort of in this root folder, but I'm just staying in here because I have my Claude session here, and I've told it all this stuff that I want. So it's not like I want to end this Claude session here. I want to continue this until it works properly. So let's just let's be patient here and see. I know this video is getting a little long, but this is taking about as long as it takes me anyway to create something new and get it right. But the bottom line is, once if I see the environment get created properly, I'm in good shape. It's updating files, and obviously this plan is getting updated probably in the Claude MD file somewhere. But next time you run this, a new project will open up with current. Okay, so now let's try this here. So it's saying that I'm capable of. Okay, I'm capable of running this now, right? So let me. Oh, it's gotta ask me what folder though. No, it didn't. It didn't do that. So I'm going to just tell it. It's trying not to. It didn't prompt me for the name. Okay. Let me just say folder name equals. Now the thing, if the skill didn't ask me for the new folder name, that was bad. So I have to change this. Here, let me try it again. I'm going to go into plan mode. Update the plan so that if create Claude folder skill does not have a directory name, please prompt for one. Here it is. See if arguments is empty. Didn't notice arguments were empty. Let's just accept this. Now, looks like it changed mode to Sonnet. Great. Now let me now notice when I go in here, I'm paying for more tokens, but I want this to work really bad. So so what I'm going to do now is let me do this. Let me just call it tester. I got to make sure. See, usually what happens is when I'm using Claude, tester's being used already. My commerce is the directory name. Yes. I'm just going to yes this as much as possible to see what happens. And I could tell that there might be some things that are not happening that I still want, so I might still have to plan more. And these yeses, you know, are taking up a little of my time. I just want to see what it's doing. But once it works, you know, I'll take out those questions that need approval, because it's just I was interested in this. So now it created my folder with my files. So let's just see. There's a command here, my commerce, a skill which I didn't really define yet. This is something I could edit to make sure it works if I need a skill in there. I should have called this dummy skill, but I could use it as a skill. This is the Python virtual environment. Output files, source files. Now this is something I wasn't too crazy about. So this, I expected this to be populated. Oh, now I see what happened. Common credentials live in the root.env and has different keys. This here is to override this variable. So I don't know what this variable is in my root. So that's why I want to. So really, we're sort of. Okay, let's try this. We're sort of almost at the end here, and I think yeah. So let me show you one thing I wanted to test here, which I didn't. Okay, what is this? Okay, so what I wanted to do was just show you. There's another thing I'm trying to do here, which was something I wanted to test. So what I gave it some instructions. I don't think it listened to my instructions because what I wanted to do is use my environment. What I told Claude to create a common environment here. So it not only has the skill to create a Claude code folder, it's going to take this environment and copy my keys and my environments, and I wanted it to clone it into the local directory. But maybe what it did was a little bit better, because really it's my token is reusable, my username is reusable, my branch is reusable, and all of these keys are usable. My profile, my production, I'm in the West region. Now, now whether I gave it the right instructions or whether it didn't listen to my instructions, I'm a little bit confused there. But when you look at my environment, all it needs is the GitHub repo and main. It doesn't. My GitHub credentials and everything is in my base environment file. So let me just try this. This should probably test the base environmental variables, because if it doesn't have my GitHub credentials, it's not going to work. Okay, so this is something that should have been in my plan, right? When you cd into a directory, you create the repo, then initialize git and push to GitHub. So I missed this as well. Okay, so let me first do it. Now it's taken my base token out of my base environment file. It's got the new repo name. Now what I'm doing with the base environment file, I know it's good because less is better when you're looking at a repo, but in this repo here, the environment, I don't want to keep on defining my variables the same way and getting the values and looking up the values all the time. It's pretty time consuming sometimes. And I just want to tell you, when I'm in here in the folder, I tend to do a lot of things over and over again, right, with the folder. I'm going in and out of these folders. But the truth is, the Python virtual environment now could also be a top level folder. But I'm not doing that right now because it's hard to keep all the projects in sync with a certain version of Python and packages. I mean, that's the reason why we have virtual environments. But I do that within Bedrock. Okay, in Bedrock I have a bunch of programs, and I have a virtual environment at the top level, and I go through Agent Core using the same virtual environment. Anyway, we're almost done here. And like I said, I don't know whether I'm trying to figure out whether, and this is a general opinion, whether this is good practice or bad practice. So if this works, I'd say it's a good practice. I want to keep my token in my base environment file, and I want to use GitHub credentials from that common file because I have to renew my key and rotate my keys anyway. And I think the only thing that I have to be careful of is overriding that with an old token. So okay, so I got 7 files that were allow use the bash command. We're going to push. So my commerce got pushed to GitHub. Now in this case, I really didn't want to go to GitHub, but let's put it this way: when I create new folders, I'm going to be careful about this. So that was part of what I wanted to accomplish, and that's really the part of this video I'm going to end with. Now, what was the thing that we missed? That I wanted to go back and put in my plan. Yeah, I think I still have it cut. Okay, that's. I'm going to end this video because this is really what I wanted to do. I wanted to create a new Claude code project, and I wanted a skill, the permissions set a certain way. I wanted all these folders. This way I could just go in here and start doing my work. Right? Create a Python file and folder, and the source folder that does this. So this is what I wanted. Now the thing that I didn't get before was Let's see, do I still have it? Initialize get and push. Okay, yeah. So let's try to do this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into this old folder. We're going to end right here, right? This worked. So what I have here now is at a root folder, I have my I created this plan to create a skill. This root folder project, I created a plan to create a skill so I could generate new projects, and I accomplished that, and it's successful. The one thing I didn't do is, and let's see if I go back into this. What has happened to my Claude code? Authenticate with share comment. I'm going to go back into this session just for the hell of it. I don't know what session. Yeah, probably this one. I'm going to go back into plan mode and do this. Let's try this once. So we're going to finish up this video right now, but I think that is important because I want the GitHub to be created, the GitHub repo to be created. I want the README file out there. I want all the initial files that I created out there before I even start doing anything and commit anything. I want the repo to exist. Step 11 will init commit the scaffold files. Okay, that's great. Let's try it. Let's try it now again. The new folder, I want it named my junk, let's say. I'm going to get rid of these folders. So let's just see what happens. You know, some of this stuff, when you yes this to death, you basically don't have time to read. And it is, as long as I could tell, it's not modifying anything outside my folder. I tend to not care as much because this is junk. So, but let's just see what happens. And I also wanted settings and the permissions to be, I guess I should set that at the root directory as well. See, the problem is this never ends, but once you get what you want, you could modify it very easily to continue working. So let's just see what happens. So now notice it's using my, in a new folder, it's using my GitHub token and stuff, and it's doing whatever it needs to do. Oh shucks, what did I do? I should have just there's a way to go back a command and so notice there's two things that happen. It's going to bring me into the new directory, the new Claude session, but also I should have great. Now I'm in here, I could start working. I could start creating agents and stuff like that. Now let's go over here and just take a look to see what's happening in GitHub. So I go in here, this is good. Let's see if I go in here. So the reason I wanted to show you this is because now I have a README file which looks like a starting point. That describes this project, even though there's nothing really in here too substantial. I have the README file there as well. So this is good. Let me see. So I just created all these, and let's see what this one says, because I definitely want this one stored. A rudimentary README file. Okay, that's all I wanted to show for this video. You know, feel free to go into my repos and get and use whatever you want. I'm going to remove some of these things, but the ones that I'm going to keep are going to be associated with the videos. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.